Ooh, I gotta tell you, I usually don't like the CVOs.
You say that in every video.
No, I say it's always I'm gonna say something sacrilegious. I didn't say that this time. I hope all that's still in there for your viewing pleasure. But yeah, usually I'm not a very big fan of the CVOs.
What does Jesse like?
That's the mystery. My wife would know the answer. Anyways, the reason for that though is for the CVOs, like while it has always been the best that Harley-Davidson is making for that year, for me, I'm a big fan of aftermarket stuff. I really like taking a canvas and painting it and making it my own. And performance is my big focus point a lot of times. I like the stuff that works the best. It's the toughest, lightest, fastest. That's stuff that really appeals to me. So for the CVOs, while I could enjoy the paint jobs, I know that I was not alone in feeling like, hey, why would I get a CVO whenever I could paint my own canvas, right? But I say that, and everything before the but doesn't count. But when I saw that this was coming out for the 2024 model year, this bike really caught my attention because it really was the best of everything Harley-Davidson can do in a very performance-focused package. This wasn't just a really nice paint job with the best Screaming Eagle components. No, we actually had the race team was collaborating on a lot of this stuff and saying, hey, this is what we use in our bike for King of the Baggers, and this is why we do it. That's why there's certain aspects of this bike I know a lot of people aren't crazy about, but coming from that design prospect of, hey, let's make a CVO, but put sport touring and make it just as race inspired as possible. And that's what they did with this one. And there's a whole bunch of stuff across it where it takes from that inspiration, like literally right from the word go up here in the front, those brake rotors, while it's still Brembo, and technically Harley's brakes have been Brembo for a while, we just put the bar and shield on it. If you look at your regular CVO models, while it'll still have the Brembo branded brakes, you'll notice the calipers are actually different on the, not the calipers, the rotors themselves are actually different on this as well. It's not like the mainline CVOs where it is still a very light and plenty of stopping power on it. These are actually etched in a way to where it's for heat dampening. It's making it to where as your brakes are applied, that friction that's causing the stopping, those little spots there are going to allow for heat to escape. In the race scene, that's made so you don't melt your brakes. Like, fully, that's the reason. So putting that on a bike that, for the CVO, I think that is a super cool component of it, and it's something that you have never really seen from the motor company. But now they've got it. Across the bike, it's got these little accents for the carbon fiber mesh instead of a carbon fiber weave. Some people aren't crazy about it. I really like the difference in look. I feel like you're seeing carbon fiber weave everywhere now. And that actually goes back to the design principle on this for the CVO, is they were asking, okay, we're going to make this race-inspired, race styling. And the way to do that is going back to the main principle they had with the Helix platform in general, which is this new body style, is shaving ounces to save pounds. Because for those of you in the performance world, as you know, the lighter you can make something, that equals out in horsepower. You can't always take a full pound from one spot, but you can shave a few ounces here. A few ounces across an entire bike, that's why you're getting lots of savings in weight from the Rushmore style over to the Helix. Just in general, you're looking at up to 30 pounds of weight saving on some of the bikes, and going back to that carbon fiber setup, taking away that weight. I know that Blockhead Moto, on their biker build-off that they did for this year with Harley-Davidson, they actually went and made the bike entirely out of carbon fiber for that exact principle of, let's make this as light as possible, because that's going to help with the horsepower side of it. It does have the inverted front forks up in the front. That is something that is across the CVO platform. Still going to give you that very planted feel when riding on it. I personally like what they were going for up here with this, with the windshield. It is a more chopped windshield versus what you're seeing on the mainline Road Glides or on the other Cvo Road Glides. And again, if you look at the race bikes, that's where that comes from. They are so hunched over onto the gas tank, leaning right up to the fairing, that they need, like they have it cut down some for just wind resistance and making the bike lighter once again. You're going to kind of notice the theme. Lighter bike. That's what they were going for with this Cvo ST because of that race inspiration. Even with that race inspiration, though, you do get some really nice upgrades on the inside of the fairing. Not just the painted inner fairing, but also you are still getting the Rockford Fosgate upgrade into the fairing for your audio needs. I know that a lot of people were asking, why would you have a Cvo without saddlebag speakers? Now, you don't need speakers when racing. You need them for street cruising. But they wanted to keep it, again, that theme we keep coming back to, ounces to save pounds. They didn't want to put the speakers in the saddlebags here because they were still going for that lighter setup. And those, if you talk to anybody that actually has those speakers in their saddlebags, it adds some weight. I know many people where the first time they open their bag, they're worried that that the lid's gonna rip off just because of the weight that speaker adds to it. But that's why they decided not to put it into the speakers down there, is just, again, making it to where it's as light as possible. One of the other things that they did with this bike is this is the 121 high output, kind of a throwback. Well, I thought it was a throwback at first to the twin cams, where they were, towards the end of their run, they were all high output engines. The big reason for on this bike why it is the high output version and not the VVT version, which we know is the one that comes on your regular CVOs. That's the one where people looked at this bike online and it's like, oh, it's going to have the VVT if it has that little spot right there. This one does not have a VVT cam. And again, what was that theme? Say it with me on this one. Ounces to save pounds. That VVT cam, it was like, I think 0.5 ounces more in weight than going with a regular cam into it. That is still a Screaming Eagle cam onto it, so it is still a performance part with it. But that's why it's not VVT. The other reason for it is they wanted, for the high output one, instead of it to variable valve timing, where it is making sure that engine's firing as efficiently as possible every single time. For the high output, they just wanted that engine firing as hard as possible every single time, so you could feel that takeoff and really get the performance numbers that they were going for on the Cvo ST. The last thing I'll bring up, because I know I am running out of time on this one, is it does have an Öhlins upgraded suspension in the rear. That is going to change the ride dramatically. I really wasn't a fan. Well, fan's the wrong word. I really wasn't a believer at first. I didn't think it did much. I kind of felt like we were just putting canisters on the back because it was cool and hip, as the kids say. That is not the case, though. If you have not ridden on a bike with improved suspension, oh my goodness, it's a game changer. You feel like you go from riding on a bike to riding on a cloud. It is insane. The performance aspect that you're getting with that is it's making it to where whenever you have this beefed up motor, the bike is taking full advantage of that, because if you don't have beefed up suspension with a beefed up motor, it was explained to me, you're having a little bit of drag still on your bike. The bike is not built fully to take advantage of what that power plant has. This bike is built fully to take advantage of the power plant. And it's not just in the rears. This is something that people overlook all the time. Check this out. You have to get real close up here to notice it. The front end has also been given the same treatment of improved suspension on the front end as well. These little knobs are so you can do your micro adjustments and make it feel exactly how you want it to. I know my manager Jonathan, he likes a little bit of a tighter ride on his performance machines. Some people, they want it to feel a little bit soft. You were able to do that on this improved suspension of doing those micro adjustments, not only in the front, in the back as well. This is a super nice bike. Again, I was blown away with it. I haven't even fully described everything that this bike can do. Like, this thing has a track mode, and from Harley-Davidson, I'm obligated to say, please do not take this, use track mode in non-track settings. Thank you. It is a sick bike. So come down, check these things out. I love this paint job. the history on this paint job too, from going back to what the race team's doing. It's a super sick bike. So if you have not given yourself the opportunity, please come down to Evansville Harley today. Check out this bike. It is truly a game changer. And that's Jesse for Fit Friday.